So, who should target GSOC in 2024?
Try to like look at it from a perspective of, okay, I'm trying to like contribute to open source. I'm going to get to learn a lot more.
After that, you also got an internship from Google, right? So, tell me about the process of getting internship at Google, first of all.
So yeah, going to the office was like absolutely amazing. Like, I did the customary taking like the photo in front of Google and then putting a story saying from day to day one.
Did GSOC help you getting internship at Google because it's Google Summer of Code? So, did it help?
That's what I like to believe. To be honest, like halfway in, I was pretty sure I was not going to get PPO.
How did you exactly do the international job hunting? If you will share that, that will be very beneficial for a lot of us. You knew some of the companies that usually hire freshers, am I right?
Yeah.
Can you name some of those companies that usually hire new grads? Hi everyone, I'm Shumbul Arifa and I'm working as a software engineer at Microsoft. Today in the podcast, I have invited Rakshit, who is my college junior and who is also interned at Google, and he also got a PPO from Google, and then he started international job hunting and he is currently working at Palantir, London. So I have a lot of questions today for him, and let me start with his introduction. So hi Rakshit, how are you?
I'm good. And I have a lot of answers for you.
That is great. So can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi guys. So I'm Rakshit. I'm a 2023 grad, recent graduate from NITK Surathkal. Now I work in Palantir in their London office as a forward deployed engineer, slightly different from like the usual like software engineering role. And before that, I interned with Google, and before that like had some work in open source through like the Google Summer of Code program. So yeah, and recently moved to London from India for work.
Okay, that is great, Rakshit. So tell us about what a day looks like in your life currently.
Okay, let me think. So I get up and so like usually it's weekdays is me like going to the office, spending a bunch of time there, and then I like to play football. Like London is really big on football. I have like a bunch of groups and like leagues where I play. And when I'm not like working from office, so my role requires me to like go to the customer site and like work from there, like talk to them, understand like where they are coming from. So then I'm usually like traveling to my client site, and currently like my clients are in the US and in India. So yeah, it's like going like to these places. That depends on like the clients that you have. So currently, yeah, that's how my life looks like.
That's really cool. So let us start about your journeys.
Before we move ahead in this video, there's an announcement for you. If you want unlimited job opportunities in the field of data science, check out OdinSchool's data science cohort. You'll get real-world project-based immersive learning with the help of live instructor-led personalized mentorship. There are more than 500 hiring partners including Google, Deloitte, IBM and many more. They have a community of around 4,000 plus active learners. Explore career journey and success stories from those who have joined them and got hired at great packages. You'll get to see many reviews on their platform. Let it be career transition, career gaps, career breaks, or even a start of career. The best thing is that they provide very high value for your time, and they get you prepared with the help of workplace skill, industry aligned projects, and mock interviews by dedicated team of experts. Their next cohort starts from 24th of Feb, and this is the cohort price. There is an early bird discount as well for the first 100 enrollees. There is also an EMI option, and you can book your seats in 5K plus GST. They also post a weekly round of job opportunities. Currently, they have around 500 plus jobs available on their portal, so go and check them now. Link is in the description. Make sure you bookmark that. With that, let's continue on our video.
Let us start with your JEE preparation first. So how was your JEE preparation? What was your rank and your journey to NITK?
JEE Prep was a bit hectic. So I was in one of these like coaching institutes. I would say I was one of those like not so smart but like hardworking kids. Did decent. So I was not like, so what I used to do was I was not like knowing everything, but then even though if I didn't know something, I would like try to get answers from the options, like trying to eliminate the options and trying to like guess. That worked quite well for mains. Got a decent rank, around 2.5k-ish.
Oh, 2.5k rank all over India. So that is a big achievement, I would say. So yeah, you did pretty well. Then you got into NITK, and how's your college journey?
College was fun. It was really exciting and a lot of learning. So initially, like first year, I was absolutely clueless. I was just like trying to understand what other people are doing, what I like, what I should do. And then COVID hit. So that's slow. Like all of us went back home, and like I actually got time to like do all the things that I wanted to do. Yeah, so like did a bit of like open source and like got was accepted to the Google Summer of Code program, and then eventually got into Google internship and then like did the internship there, and then like finally when the college opened up back, and for like our final year it was like a lot of partying.
Okay, so that sounds a lot of fun. So how is your academics? I mean, CGPA?
CGPA was quite good in the beginning. I had like 9.5 plus. This was in like first year, and then online sem was not like very hard to like maintain this. But yeah, towards the end, it kind of like came down. But yeah, by then I'd already like gotten all the offers and like I'd gotten all the internships that I wanted to get, so it was fine.
So how did you exactly maintain such an excellent CGPA in college? What used to be your strategy to study? Can you share that?
Yeah, I wouldn't stress too much on it being excellent. I was like not even in the top 5 in my class. But yeah, it's just about like so we had like a friend group, and then we used to like study together, like share resources. So I think like that collective learning makes it much more easier, and you're not like doing the whole thing on your own,
Okay, like a teamwork and growing together, right?
pretty much.
So, did you participate in any clubs and all as well when you were in college?
Yeah, so in college, I was part of certain technical clubs and like non-technical clubs, but yeah, there are like a lot of technical clubs where you can meet like-minded people, like-minded alumni. There are also like once you are like in your final years, there'll be a lot of juniors whom you can mentor. So that part was great, and you also like come together and like do projects that you like, especially like there will be people from other domains as well, like mechanical, electrical, civil, so you can do like inter domain projects. So those things are like really good. You get like their perspective, and once you like kind of bring in all these like different perspectives together, you can like create like really amazing projects. You can share ideas. It's like a great platform to be in.
Okay, so now that you have started talking about projects, I would like to know what kind of projects did you target for your resume and otherwise as well.
So something like my seniors in these clubs told, especially when we're like doing projects, was to like not like just rip off some existing project that's out there online. So what we were like doing there was trying to look at the problems around us and trying to see if we can like solve them and like bring actual value through our projects. So in NITK we had this problem of new people who just enter the campus and they have no idea where like where some eat out is, or where this department is, or where the football ground is. So we built a chatbot, and this chatbot essentially has like all the geographical information about the college, so people can just like talk to it and get directions, and I had a map linked to it. So yeah, I mean anything that can like solve real problems and bring value. So that is like one way to look at projects. And another thing that you could do is like contribute to open source. So when you do like open source projects, that's like a great way for, let's say someone is like looking at the contribution that you did, they can like easily look at the contribution that you did, the pull request that you made, the issue that it solves, the code that you wrote, and the comments that it got from like people who actually are like in this organization. So yeah, that's another great way to like have projects.
Okay, so if I sum it up, you mentioned about two type of projects. One was to participate in open source and put it in your resume, so that is a good learning experience as well, and that really stands out in your resume as well, right? and the other type of project is working on some pain point, like working to solve a problem. So that is also my personal favorite, if you work on some problem and you find out a solution to that. And that's how many startups and all are also built. So if you are in college, you should work on such projects, you should work on some unique ideas like that, you should come up with some unique idea and you should start building it using some or the other framework. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I also saw GSOC on your resume, and GSOC 2024 is also on the way. So tell me a bit about GSOC. Let's start from what is GSOC?
Right. So GSOC is essentially like a program funded by Google. What they do is they accept a bunch of organizations, open source organizations, and these organizations can in turn select people who can work for these organizations, and Google pays the people who are working for these organizations. So from an organization perspective, they get students or now even professionals who can work for them and like contribute to their organizations, and Google takes care of the payment. And from a student or like a participant perspective, you get to work for cool open source organizations, and you also get paid by Google. And for Google, it's just a way of getting more people into open source, providing the platform where more people can like start contributing and just like growing the community.
So who should target GSOC in 2024?
I would say if you're someone who is just starting out with open source and you're trying to get into open source, then yeah, you can definitely look into it, look into the organizations who are participating, see if there are any organizations that interest you. Or if you're someone who has been like already like contributing to an organization and your organization has been selected for GSOC, then you might as well get paid for the contributions that you're already doing. So yeah, try to like look at it from a perspective of, okay, I'm trying to like contribute to open source, I'm going to get to learn a lot more, I'm going to get to learn from like experienced like engineers and like experienced coders who maintain like big repositories.
Okay, that's interesting. So what's the criteria to get GSOC opportunity?
So they're essentially like looking for people who are new to open source. They want more beginners to enter the field, like start contributing. So if you're someone who's like already like really into open source, probably that's not like in Google's best interest to qualify you, right? And earlier it was only for students who are in universities, but now they've opened it up for everyone. If you're over 18, that is.
Okay, that's a really good news. So what was your preparation to get GSOC opportunity?
I looked at a bunch of organizations that were participating, and there were two organizations that I kind of liked. One of them was on like low-level C++ systems, but that seemed a bit too complicated for me. And there was another organization which was kind of cool. It's called Faro. So it's like a different, like a new language and like an operating system on its own. So I had to like learn a bit about that like organization and language. They had like a bunch of tutorials, but like once I started into it, it was like really cool and really exciting. And yeah, then I looked and they had like one project which was up, which was on like benchmarking, which is something that I already know and I like already thought about. So yeah, then I just like wrote up a proposal for it. I got some advice from the mentor who was supposed to like mentor that project. Yeah, and yeah, eventually like my proposal got accepted.
Okay, so a lot of learning was involved, right?
Definitely.
So after that, you also got an internship from Google, right? So tell me about the process of getting internship at Google, first of all.
Right, yeah. So I was lucky in the sense that Google came to my campus. Yeah, so essentially it was just like you send in your resume, they shortlist a bunch of resumes, they send a online assessment link, and after that you have a bunch of interviews. And yeah, so this was in my third year for my for the internship. So it was a lot more focused on DSA, and there wasn't a lot of interview rounds. Yeah, it was like, okay, a bunch of DSA questions. Since it was just like third year beginning, there were not like a lot of resume round questions or like system design or like, HR round questions. Yeah.
Okay. So did GSOC help you getting internship at Google because it's Google Summer of Code? So did it help?
That's what I like to believe. So when during my third year, so when I'm making my resume and they see the resume and they shortlist the resume, there's not a lot that you could put on there because you're still like in the beginning of your third year. But yeah, so like having GSOC would have definitely kind of given that push. And also like another good thing was during one of my interviews, the interviewer had also done GSOC and he had done it twice, and so he just like brought that up. So yeah, so that kind of like helped build that connection with the interviewer. But like my friends who got into Google with me, they had not done GSOC, so I wouldn't say it's like a hard requirement. But they were also like very super smart people, so yeah.
Okay, so I have one more doubt here. So, is there an internship opportunity from Google after you complete GSOC?
It was there before. They had this program of like they would, if they liked the work that you've done, they would kind of reach out, but they have stopped that now. So now
All
it's
right.
it definitely doesn't hurt to have it in your resume when you're like applying for Google, but there's no direct path from like GSOC to Google.
Okay. So, how was your internship experience at Google?
Oh, it was great. It was great. So it was remote for us with all like the COVID things going on. But since I was in Bangalore, I could. They did let me go to the office a bunch of times. So yeah, going to the office was like absolutely amazing. Like, I did the customary taking like the photo in front of Google, and then putting a story saying from day 1 to day one, like the cliche stuff. Yeah, that was fun. And like just like the people there, everyone's like so experienced, like really smart. It's like a very intellectual environment. You get to learn a lot, and even like the projects that you do are like have like a really wide impact, considering that the user base is so much. And then when you like actually get to see like Google's repository, and you see that okay, this is the code that's written which like powers pretty much the whole of the world. That's like a great experience.
Everything is very exciting. What was the most exciting part?
I would say like going to the office, and so since it was remote, I only went a couple of times. But when I did go, I'd like completely cleared out my schedule, and then I went to the office and like tried out, every like food items that they have, every snack, every ice cream. And I went on like I went on a Friday evening, and like on Fridays they have like amazing lunches, amazing dinners. They usually have biryanis on Friday. So yeah, I think that has to be the best part. Apart from getting PPO, I think yeah, getting PPO and like going to the office.
Okay, so all that food for free, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so were you positive that you will get a PPU?
So to be honest, like halfway in, I was pretty sure I was not going to get PPO because it was not going that great. Like we had not met the timelines goals. But yeah, from like 5 week to like towards the end, like we kind of sprint towards the goals, and then I was able to like complete the goals and the stretch goals. So towards the end, I was kind of confident that I'm gonna get the PPO. But yeah, halfway in, that was like a very bad state to be in. I was kind of sure that I'm not gonna get the PPO.
So with that, did you start off-campus job hunting?
No, I mean halfway in, my focus was only to get the PPO. I was not thinking about off campus.
Okay, so when did you start international job hunting?
Uh, so I came back to college final year, I would say September, somewhere around that time.
Okay, so how did you exactly do the international job hunting? If you will share that, that will be very beneficial for a lot of us.
I wouldn't call it job hunting as such. It was mostly just applying to the companies that I knew are hiring Indian new grads. I've seen like some other people who had joined before. I've seen some of my seniors who are like working there. So mostly like went to these job portals of these companies that I knew and just applied. But there are a lot of job boards that you can just go and you can see all the open positions. But a lot of them may not be actually willing to sponsor for your visa. So it's like a high effort, low reward situation. I didn't really want to do that. I didn't want to spend so much time in companies where I knew they would very likely not respond. So I just like focus it on like companies who actually like respond.
Okay, so you knew some of the companies that usually hire freshers, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you name some of those companies that usually hire new grads?
Right. Yeah. So for like software engineering, it's the usual Google, Meta, Amazon, Bloomberg, JP Morgan, and I also applied for like Databricks and Palantir, which is where I'm working right now. And you can also apply to HFTs. There are a lot of HFTs that are like willing to sponsor your visa and that bring in like Indian new grads. So you have Optiver, Tower Research, Jane Street, and a bunch of like smaller HFT firms. But yeah, that'd be good if you already like have some experience in HFT. It'll be like a great option to consider.
Okay, so how many companies among these did you apply for?
HFTs, I applied to a bunch of them. Optiver was one where I was like in the interview process and like I failed real bad. And in the other ones, I don't think like hardly any of them were hiring when I was applying except for Palantir. And Google, I couldn't apply because I already had an offer. But yeah, essentially like not a lot of interview processes that happened, with the whole recession.
Okay, so you applied via referrals or via job portals or from which website?
Right. So these companies that I knew, I just like went to their portal and I applied. And for the companies whom I knew, some people were already working, I got some referrals. You'll definitely like find a lot of job portals out there, which has like a lot of openings. But the thing with these like job portals is that most of them wouldn't be like interested in hiring someone from abroad. They may not be interested in hiring like people for whom they would have to like sponsor the visa. So you have all these like caveats. So I didn't want to like spend so much time on like applying to these companies when I knew that there's like a very little chance that they're going to get back to you. But if you have the time, you should like definitely apply. There might be like one case where they're actually like interested in like sponsoring your visa and like getting you there. But yeah, like when I was applying, like my girlfriend did give me a lot of time to like apply. So I mainly applied to the companies where I knew that they do sponsor the visa and they have like previously hired people.
Okay, so how many interview rounds were involved in Palantir, where you are currently working at?
It started off as like a DSA round, like a online assessment, and then after that there was a resume based round, there was a system design round, there was like a HR round to assess the company fit. Yeah, I would say like 5-6.
5-6 rounds, and in even system design, which is not usually asked to freshers, right?
Yeah, true. But it was not like your usual design Netflix kind of system design questions. It was much more like low level and like smaller systems. They call it a decomposition round. And yeah, I think that made sense. Like it doesn't come from, you don't need to be like a senior software engineer to like do this round. Like whatever you have studied, that's probably enough. It's just about like how you think and how you approach a problem and how you decompose it into like smaller problems.
How did you prepare? Can you share a few resources?
For DSA, like I'd already done the whole interview prep for Google, so I'd need to like do anything extra. It was just like again, just like making sure I'm back in touch. And for system design, I used this book by Alex Yu. Kind of like explains all the concepts and like goes through like a bunch of system design problems. That was great, but there are a lot of online resources out there which you can use. And apart from that, it was mainly like trying to prepare for questions based on my resume. just trying to like think through, okay, what are the questions that they could possibly ask and how I can like tailor my resume experience and like my work experience. And then also like going through the companies blogs and like, companies like resources that are out there, trying to understand like the company's work culture and trying to fit my resume's narrative around like the company's culture and trying to find that mutual fit.
Okay, so thanks a lot for sharing these resources with us. And can you tell me how's your experience been at Palantir London so far? What's your role and what are the perks and all?
Yeah, so my role is slightly different. It's not the usual software engineering role. It's called forward deployed engineer. So what this means is you are more closer to the customer than the product. So essentially this involves you trying to understand customers' problems and then trying to customize and deploy the product for them. So it's kind of like a soft solution architect / like consultant type of role. So yeah, I would say the perks has to be the traveling. So you get to like travel to the clients like clients office, and then you get to like work from there. And like these clients can be like all over the world. My clients are mostly in US and India, but we have like clients in like Japan, Australia, Dubai.
Thanks for sharing that, Rakshit. And my next question is, how's your experience been in Palantir so far?
Oh, it's great. It's so we solve a lot of like important problems that are being like faced in like important institutions. So like really a lot of the work is with the defense, with the government. So a lot of like important problems that are being solved around. And also like there's this culture of like taking up more responsibility. So even as a new grad, you are like taking a lot more responsibility. So if things go wrong, it's on you, and that's like kind of nice that you get to like take up so much of ownership like from from the beginning of your career. That way it's been great.
That's really great to know about your experience, your journey, your Google internship experience, and about GSOC and everything. Your story is very inspiring, and if I would have been a junior, it would have been very helpful to know all of this for sure. Okay, so my last question is, what advice would you like to give to other students who aspire to achieve similar success in their academic and their professional journeys?
Understand clearly what it is that you want. Once you have that like clear mindset and like clear goal, stay consistent, work towards it, and yeah, just like go get it.